All right. OxFit Podcast, episode 22.
Sweet.
Yeah, we hit, last episode we hit the 1% mark. Only 1% of podcasts make it to 21 episodes.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, so we've got 22. So this might be the last one. We said last episode might be the last one. We'll see what happens. But for anyone listening, Ant is not here this week. We are here with a OxFit OG, Mr. Chris Cash. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you ever been on a podcast before?
I have not.
Is this what you expected?
Yeah, kind of. There's a camera, lights, microphone.
Feels pretty
headphones.
official to me.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Well, if you are a person that goes to Grant Park, you definitely know Cash. But if you're an EAV person, maybe you don't go to OxFit, you don't know Chris. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I joined OxFit in 2017. I always tell the story that we moved to the neighborhood in 2015, and for 2 years I knew neighbors on either side of my house, but didn't know anyone else in the neighborhood. Came down here and met Ant. I remember sitting back, table in the back, and he sold me on it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to come in and check it out. Next thing I knew, like a few months later, you can't go to the grocery store without running into OxFit people. You can't go out anywhere. And so I like to describe OxFit as like a social club, and we work out too.
Yeah.
We're healthy. So anyway, yeah, I joined in 2017. I was committed. I was like, all right, I'm going to work out 4 or 5 times a week, get my money's worth. And, it changed my life. Just started feeling so much better. Like I said, had that sense of community. And 2019, Ant approached me about coaching. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I hadn't thought about that, but sure, let's give it a shot. One thing I like to never say no to a challenge. And so it's something new for me, get me out of my comfort zone. And started coaching 2019. And for any of the interns going through the program now, it is very awkward at first.
Yeah.
And very comfortable now. Super glad I made that decision. So
Yeah, you're one of our senior coaches now. Definitely somebody I look up to whenever I take your classes and when I started coaching. Did you ever see yourself being a coach of anything? I mean, I know you played sports like growing up, did that kind of thing, but did you ever envision yourself in that role?
I mean, before I had kids, I was like, one day I'm going to be my kid's soccer coach.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Nothing serious like this. But it's gotten me, like I said, out of my comfort zone, grown a ton, super comfortable just getting up in front of a room, leading it. Ant tells a story about how when I started, I was the guy that set up my barbell in the back of the room. Just wanted to do the workout and go home.
Yeah.
But we don't roll like that here.
Right.
So.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you want to take a Cash class, you've got bright and early, 5:30 a.m., 6:30 a.m., Mondays and Fridays.
Come join us.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
a lot of energy in that 5:30 a.m. class.
Yeah, it has. It's gotten upbeat.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I coach that class 1 day a week too. You have to force it on them or else you're tired too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we got to get going, guys.
Yeah. They come in, head down in the morning, and just got to get them going.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. So what did you do for fitness before OxFit? What was your, path to physical fitness, sports? Like, what did that look like for you? Yeah,
so I grew up playing some baseball, soccer, cross country in the off season. Soccer was my big sport, and played that all through high school. Went to college and focus kind of shift. And I was still playing like intramural soccer. When I graduated, started working, I played in some just like pickup leagues around the city. Life changes, and I just kind of got away from that.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'd like go out, kick the ball around, go for a run. I was not fit.
Yeah.
But I'm not somebody that puts on a lot of weight. So I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, I'm fit. I'm fine.
Yeah. I can run fast.
Yeah. But I distinctly remember going for a run and I live on Hill Street, went to Hill Street, left on Inglewood, came back down, couldn't have been more than a mile. And the next day, hip flexors were sore, knees were sore. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that was like the last run I did before I joined this gym.
Yeah.
Another story, when I was probably 26, 27, a little bit out of college. I signed up to do a half marathon. I started training for it. I think I got up to like 4 or 5 mile runs. My knees hurt so bad that I was on crutches the next day. It was awful. Dang. And even when I joined the gym, I think for the first 2.5, maybe 3 years, my knees just always hurt. I was traveling a lot for work, and I'd sit on an airplane just like, I just need to get up and stretch. My knees hurt so bad. And it was because I didn't have the strength training portion of it. So I didn't have the muscle to support the joints.
No, for sure. I also feel like I did have a similar background, like soccer, cross country, all that kind of stuff. And it might be different for guys, but I was never exposed to the weight room. And I feel like when you're young, you can get away with just pounding the pavement, running, doing stadiums, like all this stuff. Like that was exercise to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if that had continued much past like when I was 19 or 20, which is when I stopped playing soccer, like I would have had the same issues. Because when you're young, you can get away with that. But then it very quickly starts to take a toll if those patterns continue without, any understanding of the importance of strength training or cross training or just kind of having both of those things in your life.
And sitting at a desk all day.
Oh, yeah.
Hamstrings were just gone. So I would say, like I said, 2.5, 3 years, still felt that knee pain, but it got better each year. I don't have it at all now.
Yeah.
I've now run 2 marathons, gonna run a third this year. And your joints are a little stiff, but it's nothing. Right. And I had to give up on a half marathon. Like not running more than 4 or 5 miles, 6 miles maybe.
And that's all you were doing.
Yeah. And now I run a marathon. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. Objectively doing more exercise volume, it just looks different.
Yep.
And I think we have a lot of members of OxFit who have realized that they can still have that passion for running, for cycling, for doing marathons, half marathons, trail runs, all these things. But because they are supplementing, or the majority of their just everyday training is in the gym, resistance training with weights, they're giving themselves that longevity to keep, doing those things that they love. We had one of our athletes that did the Chicago Marathon, or was supposed to do it the year I did it. So excited. And I felt so bad for her. But she just, ran herself into the ground. Ran so much trying to prepare for this race that she couldn't run it because she had so much knee pain, hip issues. And we just have to rely on what we're doing in the gym and that it's going to translate to what we want to do outside. And I think both you and I are both a testament to that.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. You're signed up for Chicago again. This is round 2.
Yeah. The first time I did Chicago was 2019. And when Ant approached me about it, like I said, I always say yes. But I was scared. I told you about my previous experience. At that time, I still had the knee pain a little bit. It was scary. But I went, did it, had a great time. We ran as a group. You get the bright orange jersey.
Oh, yeah.
It says Oasis on it. Team Oasis is out there cheering for you. And it's a blast. Then I did New York and it wasn't scary. And I didn't train as much running, but was still, in here regularly.
Right.
It was a good time, but it wasn't wasn't scary. It wasn't as big of a challenge. And so this year, I set a goal, signed up for Chicago, and I set a goal. I want to run. I think when we ran it as a group, we were close to 6 hours. And I was like, all right, I want to run it under 4 hours.
Yeah.
3:45 would be great. I told Ant that, and he was like, 3:30 sounds better.
Yeah.
3.5 hours. I was like, we look up the pace. That's an 8-minute mile.
Yeah.
I was like, so now I'm scared again. But
that's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's like that first experience, but
right.
something different.
Yeah. Now you have like all the tools you need to be able to do that and actually get across the finish line and still be having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever I've done the marathons, like we have just such a blast as a group, and like it's not fast by any means because we just didn't have that goal. But you see people just looking absolutely miserable.
Maybe that's going to be me this time. I mean, I might go back to like, okay, running as a group.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. You see people that probably don't have the strength training. You see people that don't make it. New York, there's people just like laying down.
Yeah.
It was Jordan, Ant, and me that did it when we ran. And Ant would always go, Jordan, don't look over. Somebody laying on the ground getting medical attention. We're like, just keep going, just keep going.
Yeah. It's definitely an exercise in mental toughness.
Yeah.
I remember Lauren and I stayed together during New York this past year, and it was just, we looked at each other like halfway through. And because New York is a little bit more difficult than Chicago. The hills are there. Those
bridges are no joke.
Yeah, it's not a very forgiving course. And we were just like, okay, absolutely nothing negative is going to come out of our mouths. We were just silent the whole time because we couldn't say anything good. But we got through it, and it was amazing. But Chicago was definitely like just fun. Like I tell people, I was like, maybe not comfortable, but I was having fun, and I was not worried about anything until maybe the last 2 miles. And honestly, you're done basically at that point. It doesn't even matter.
What percentage of runners that we've had from OxFit that have done marathons would not call themselves a runner? It's got to be at least 50-60%.
I'd say more than that.
More than that, right? Like 75%?
Right. When
80?
I was doing it, they were like, people would ask me, I don't like running. I'm like, yeah, I don't either. They're like, why are you doing a marathon? It's like, 'cause I like challenges and I like doing cool shit with my friends. And it feels good to know that like the thing you do every day is going to carry you through something so opposite to what we do in the gym.
It blew my mind when I started training for the first one that the cardio aspect of it, no problem.
Yeah.
We were out there running 12, 14, 16 miles. My joints hurt, but cardio was no problem. I felt super comfortable. And it was from doing like 20-minute workouts, maybe 40-minute workouts in here.
And you actually had the musculature to support yourself.
Yeah.
All of those tiny muscles and ligaments and tendons around our joints, like all of those things get stronger with strength training. And I mean, Ant has said it so many times before. We would do whatever the best thing is for your health and fitness, we would be doing it in the gym. The reason we do this style of functional fitness and strength training mixed with high intensity, mixed with functional bodybuilding, is because it's just the best thing we found.
It works. And
that's evident by all the things we do throughout the year, and how really the only thing that changes is maybe the length of our workouts. So when we were training for the triathlon or the marathon, my workouts weren't 20 minutes anymore. They were 40 minutes, which is why when we went through that endurance cycle last fall, those workouts were long as hell.
Yeah.
But guess what? If any one of those people that were on the All-American list in the fall tried to go run a marathon, tried to do a triathlon, they'd fucking crush it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell people, like you were just kind of saying, the baseline and retest structure that we have, that's not just feedback for them, but it's for you. You're doing the programming, right? And the coaches see like, okay, this is what works and this is what doesn't. And so that's why I love OxFit's programming. You do a great job with it. It's always building on what we've done and the feedback we're getting from the results. Yeah.
And we want people to be able to take advantage of the opportunities we present without having to do anything outside of the gym, which I think this year is going to be really cool because you're going on this journey to maybe a little bit more of a harder endurance challenge, and you're wanting to take some people with you.
Yeah. So The spots for Chicago this year are going fast. If anyone's interested, let me know. We'll see what's left. It's first come, first serve at this point. But yeah, I'm going to start training this summer, and anyone that's interested in running a marathon, the Thanksgiving half marathon, triathlon, anything like that, let me know. We'll get set up. We'll start doing some weekend runs, some more endurance work, and train you for whatever you want to do.
No, that's awesome. I think, and it's not just for people that want to run a 3.5 hour marathon.
Yeah.
So come out, put in some work, come to the gym as many days a week as you can. Once a week, we're probably going to be heading out for a run, maybe going up to Red Top for a swim, run, bike situation. But yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
And then if you want to run a marathon, you can say peace out, let cash just blow past you, and you can do your own thing. That's totally fine.
Yep. We did a lot of training on Silver Comet Trail, which is great because it's super flat, which is a lot like Chicago. And you can just run out and back, and then you're done.
It's so entertaining.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you, you're doing the triathlon this year as well, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Have you done the Olympic before? Okay.
I got to get a road bike.
We're going to need to have a redo episode because I'm always curious to see how people feel after doing the marathon and the Olympic triathlon.
Compare 'em.
Yeah, I would say anybody that's interested in running a marathon or even doing that half at Thanksgiving, sign up for the Olympic triathlon in September. Training for that, I think, kept my body in that, mode of having a really long workout, but switching it between swimming, biking, running. When we're in the gym, we're not just running, we're skiing, we're rowing, we're pushing sleds, we're carrying D-balls, carrying dumbbells. All of those things just really got me ready for that marathon. And personally, I think the Olympic triathlon was harder than the marathon because it just taxes your body in a different way. So yeah, I'm excited for you to get to do it. And then see how that run feels when you get off the bike.
Heck yeah.
It was not good for me. Turns out if you, I don't know if you know this, but if you sign up for an event where you're moving for 2-3 hours straight, you have to eat during it.
Yep.
And if you don't, bad things happen. Everyone else was able to do that. I was not able to do that.
Does your stomach get kind of like queasy?
I get really nauseous. So as soon as I start running, I try to preemptively eat even earlier than they tell you to. It still makes me sick.
Okay.
So when I did the marathon, I only ate a handful of Sour Patch Kids, and everyone else was downing gels and cubes and all this stuff. So
I usually have kind of the same thing, stomach, especially after. Once I stop, it's hard to eat dinner that night.
Yeah.
But during the marathon, I was starving. And
really?
People hand out snacks.
Yeah.
So I'm grabbing.
Were you the guy taking the donuts and pizza and stuff? Oh.
I grabbed a bag of Lay's potato chips and just ate the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to give them to Aunt and Jordan. They're like, no.
Yeah.
They're like, bananas only.
Oh, no, I couldn't do it. But yeah, that'll be another great thing about having someone to train with is leading up to this stuff is just practicing those little things you don't think about.
Yeah.
Eating while you're running, biking, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, pumped.
You doing the triathlon again?
We'll see. I really want to.
Marathon?
I think I might do the sprint.
Okay.
Marathon's a no-go this year for me. I've done 2.
Just this year? So you think 2's good? Or are you
I
going to do
think
more?
2's good.
Okay.
I think 2's good.
Okay.
I said yes to 2 pretty daunting challenges. I thought they went well. I'll definitely be a repeater for that triathlon. My goals this year, I'm going to try to do the CrossFit competition 2 weeks after the triathlon. So I think I'm going to do the sprint triathlon, the shorter one.
Okay. And then which competition? Atlantic Coast?
It's beach brawl.
Okay. Oh, right.
In Pensacola.
Okay.
So based on the way I felt after the Olympic triathlon this past year, I don't know if I can do that quick of a turnaround before the competition and feel 100%.
You're going to find out.
Well, I'm going to do the sprint. I can do the sprint. That's just 300-meter swim,
right.
12-mile bike, 2-mile run.
Okay.
Which, honestly, I think that might hurt in the moment way more than the Olympic, but I think I'll recover faster.
Okay.
Because there's no pacing that. You just have to go.
Yeah. That's a team competition, right? The
Beach brawl?
Beach brawl?
I'm going individual this year. Yeah, so I was with a team last year. I'm going to level up, do something a little scarier this year, and go individual.
Gotcha.
On the beach. Got to swim in the ocean. Again, I'll have to do it for the triathlon and for this.
Be a pro swimmer.
Yeah. You did, was the competition we did this past summer your first?
I did the Mayhem on the Mountain, 2021. Mm-hmm. And then that was a good time, but that was like compared to the ACC in Daytona, that felt like legit. When you walk into that gym, you get the bleachers and everything. Yeah. For anyone that hasn't done Mayhem on the Mountain or seen the videos, it's outside in like a park in Alabama, lifting on a basketball court. In our case, in the rain.
It's kind of badass.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's just a very different vibe.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, but they're a good time. But yeah, I mean, everything we do is so fun. I honestly feel like I kind of like the marathon triathlon like competition vibe a little more, because you all like set out and do it together and you kind of finish together and it's just one thing. With the competition, it's just like 2 days of like, oh, you're going at what time? I'm going at this time. Let me try to. It's just a lot.
Yeah, and the hang after the marathon, it's like the best time ever. It was totally worth it.
Yeah, when we did, it was a girls' trip when we went to New York. So none of our guys came with us. And I remember I had like these big plans. I had mapped out all the bars I wanted to take us to. I was like, we're doing a bar crawl afterwards. We're going to go dancing. We're going to do all this. We get back to the hotel, barely make it to our 6:00 dinner reservation without falling asleep. And then me and Lauren like crawled to one place and like shakily had one cocktail, and it was like 9:30 and we're like, can we go home now? So we went to bed.
Nice.
You guys hung on a little longer than that.
We should have done what you did. But no, we were out until I don't remember when. Yeah. And that in New York. And then Lucas came along. He didn't run, but he came out with us. And then Chicago, same thing. Everyone was staying at the Moxie Hotel. Mm-hmm. They've got like games and stuff in the lobby. And we were down there till, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy because you have all this adrenaline, but you're also just like physically exhausted. Yeah. The bathroom was upstairs. And so we were like going up the stairs backwards and back down the stairs backwards because it hurt so bad.
That's amazing.
But it's like, I mean, the marathon is a great time. Mm-hmm. New York, you feel like a professional athlete, in my opinion. Because the crowd, the whole way. Like Chicago has parts on the course, but you go through like that industrial area and there's nobody. Yeah. But New York is the whole way. Yeah. Like hundreds of thousands of people out there watching you run and cheering.
And the city makes it like Chicago too. It's like a holiday for that city.
Oh yeah.
Like people are drinking. Oh. They are plastered. Just
8, 9 in the morning.
On the sidewalks screaming.
In some cases, they're in your way.
Yes. When we ran through Brooklyn, the path just kept getting more narrow and more narrow, and people were drunker and drunker. And we were just like, you guys are great, but I can't run through all of you.
We were surprised by some OxFit people that just showed up in New York and were out there drunk, cheering us on. Like, you're here?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's such a good vibe in both cities. And what a way to say that you've literally seen like every part.
Yeah, all 5 boroughs.
2 of the biggest cities in the U.S.
Yeah.
I like Chicago more than New York, I think. So, yeah, if you guys are interested, you need to jump on those spots because they go quick. But yeah, we've got a really cool relationship, one that we're really thankful for with Oasis. Yeah. Do you want to... Oh, there we go.
Team Oasis. Got my 2024 shirt in the mail this week.
Do you want to give us a little background on who Oasis is?
Yeah. So some of you may know Jordan, one of our former coaches. She moved to Greenville, but she worked with an organization, Oasis for Orphans. So they work with orphans in rural Southwest Kenya, I believe. Mm-hmm.
It's all right. It's cool.
The show must go on.
Yeah.
So they have schools and housing and go out to their website. It's amazing the stuff they're doing, and it'll bring a tear to your eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids, they just built a new school for them recently. And they released a video, and I mean, you see these kids just like light up, and it's life changing for them.
Yeah.
It's giving them opportunities that they would never have. And I forget what the number is that OxFit raised, like over 50 grand.
Yeah.
Over the, since we've been running marathons, 2018, I think is the first one that we did with Oasis. So yeah, it's just, it's a great organization to be running for. There's of course, a fundraising commitment when you sign up, but you get a guaranteed spot for these major marathons. And like I said, there's Team Oasis people along the course, and they're moving around and they're cheering you on. They do a dinner for all the runners the night before. Still stay in touch with them, and which is great.
Yeah, I don't think if you don't have, a running background or familiar with marathons, I don't think you realize how special it is to be able to have spots in these races. We're super thankful and blessed to have that relationship with Oasis to be able to even get into these races at all.
Absolutely.
Because, if you sign up and do Chicago or New York, the first thing people are going to ask you is, oh my God, how did you get in?
Right.
Because it's such like a coveted spot. Keep that in mind. It's such an awesome cause to raise money for.
And they help with training too. They give you a training plan, which with what we do in here, you don't need to stick to the plan, because these are like, you're doing 3-4 runs every week, a couple of short ones, a long one. We don't need to do that, but they have, they've been doing Chicago and New York for years, and they've got all the tips and tricks and where to stay and, what to look for and all that. So.
Yeah, it's a blast. All right, 2024 is going to be the year for Cash's endurance group.
The year of endurance. I'm going to push it, see what I can do.
Yeah, we're coming along with you. So, if anyone's interested, anyone listening, reach out to me, reach out to Cash. We'll get you set up, set some goals for 2024. But for now, all we need to do is keep crushing it in the gym, keep showing up, build that foundation, keep taking advantage of all these workouts. We're going to carry you right into our fall endurance cycle, and then Cash is going to help with some fun extra stuff along the way.
Heck yes. I want to know everyone's endurance goals.
Yeah.
And I want to see you achieve them.
Hell yeah. All right. Episode 22. It's been a blast.
Thanks.